Good afternoon, everyone. After I talk with one of your fellow students about an upcoming assignment, the Democracy and Conflicting Interests assignment, I thought it might be a good idea for me to do a quick video and talk to you about a few things. First, I'd like to say and make sure I clarify, when we use the statement government, that's a very generic term. And when we talk about government, there's really some divisions, not just in the branches, but in the types of people involved in government. So you have elected officials, you have civil servants. Those people are the people that work inside of departments. So if it's the Veterans Administration, they're working inside. They could be counselors, doctors, all kinds of things. If they're working in the EPA, they could be biologists, marine biologists, they could be scientists, accountants, all kinds of things. Those people are the civil servants. They have jobs within departments and they carry out whatever their assignments are. And then you have the appointed people. Appointed people are the heads of departments. So you see a list of departments. These departments are headed up by an appointed person. That appointed person has been appointed by the president. So the president appoints someone for the EPA to head up the Environmental Protection Agency. The president appoints someone for the Department of Energy, etc. Why is it important that we take a look at these departments and the heads of those departments? First of all, these departments are very powerful and very important. The Department of Labor determines labor standards, determines payroll, determines what minimum wage is, determines labor rights, determines labor conditions. Department of Energy is going to look at all aspects of energy, from fossil fuel to alternative fuels. The EPA is going to be responsible for environmental protection. So if we want to have clean air, clean water, a livable, sustainable environment, we've got to have government helping to make sure that happens. So each one of these departments are extremely important. You've now seen at least one film, Inside Jobs. One of the departments is the Securities and Exchange Commission. They are responsible or not responsible for a lot of what happened in 2008. We have to pay close attention to Securities and Exchange Commission. They set the rules for Wall Street, or they don't set the rules. So every single one of these agencies that's on your list are extremely vital to our day-to-day life. But most of us don't know about the department, they don't know what it does, and they don't know what it means, and they certainly don't know the head of that department and what they're doing. So why do we need to look at the head of the department? Well, the head of the department is the person that is responsible for setting the tone, setting the environment for all the civil servants to work in. So let's just say you work for the Environmental Protection Agency. If I'm the head of the Department of Environmental Protection, I have a mission statement. You need to look at that mission statement, see what the mission statement is. And it is my job to make sure that that mission statement, as the head of the department, is carried out. But what if I don't agree with the mission statement? What if I don't think that we should be carrying that out? And I've been appointed to that department. That's pretty significant. What can I do as the head of the department, especially if I really don't think that the mission is something that we should be doing? Well, if I'm the head of the EPA and I have a background in coal industry, would you say that that's a conflict of interest? If I've spent 30 years in the coal industry and now I'm suddenly going to head up the Environmental Protection Agency, whose job is to help protect water and air, and my background is in that industry, there may be a problem. What kind of power do I have? Well, First of all, I can set the priorities for each and every person in my department. So if I don't want you doing a certain job in the department, I can rewrite your job description. I can decide how you're going to spend your day and how you're not going to spend your day. So if I'm a coal industry advocate, I am not going to want increased regulation, and I'm not going to want you out there inspecting, which is contrary to the profits of the company. So I'm going to keep you at your desk. The other important thing to understand is, as the head of an agency like the EPA, if I'm the head, I control all the money. I control the budget. So I can decide what is funded and what is not funded. And if I don't want you to be successful at a certain job, or I don't want you to do that job, what can I do? I can defund you. I cannot give you the money that you need in order to do your job. So I have effectively rendered you useless. You're staying at the office. You're not going out in the field. So I control what you do, what the priorities are of the department, and the money. That is very powerful. So what you need to do to begin is, first, you need to go look at the mission statement of the department, because that mission statement sets the stage for what you should be doing. So you can easily do that. You can just Google it and see the mission statement. And then you may want to also go to, I can't flip it around, I guess, but Wikipedia. And you can take a look at that actual department just to get an idea of the scope of what they do and help you learn some other things. Then you need to go to Open Secrets. I have a link already provided for the specific agency groups. But the other thing you can do that's very helpful is, once you go to Open Secrets, you can put in the search bar, for example, the head of the Department of Energy. You put that in and it's going to come up with some articles. Those articles are going to take you to some important information. So I put in the head of the Department of Energy, that is Rick Perry. And in this particular article, it is talking about Rick Perry having multiple ties to CEOs of the controversial pipeline project tapped for Energy Department. And if you read, you'll see a clearly long history of conflict of interest. The Department of Energy should be advancing science and technologies of alternatives, but Rick Perry's background is primarily fossil fuel. That is an issue. You're going to be evaluating each of these department heads by what the mission is and how well they are meeting the principles of democracy: public interest, accountability, transparency, and creating public policies and actions that support their mission statement and work for all the people, not just a few of the people. So I hope this is helpful to you. Please feel free to call me if you need to. I've reduced the number of heads of departments that you need to look at, so you need to pick 3. All of them are very important. Thanks.